Hey YouTube, what's going on, and welcome back to Chironis Things. In today's video, we're going to take a quick look at modern lanterns. One thing that really inspired this video is I was out fishing, and as I was walking by some people fishing, it was getting later at night, and I noticed that one gentleman pulled out an oil lamp. And so he, lights his oil lamp, and it's actually, it's decent. It works. But as I'm carrying around like 10 flashlights on me at the moment, I walk to the entire other side of the pond, lake, whatever you want to call it, and I kind of look and see what his lantern looks like from across the water, and I'm just like, wow, we've really come a long way with our modern lanterns. So I was hoping that we could just kind of talk about this. So if you're not aware, really in a time not that long ago, if you wanted to use a lantern, you used an oil lamp. And all that was is, it's got a wick inside and that's covered in oil. You light it with a match or whatever, and then you've got a lantern, right? That you can carry around with you. You've got this little lamp that's got something like this on the top but larger, and you can carry it around with you. Okay, and so some of the good things about those were that, for one, they were very dependable. It's very simple mechanics. There's not much to go wrong, so they're just dependable. It's literally glass with a wick and a fire. And again, with that, it's also very easy to use. It's not that difficult to light a wick with a flame. And so there's not a whole lot to go wrong, right? You don't have a driver in it. You don't have an emitter. You don't have anything as far as technology for that to go wrong. So if you want a foolproof way of having, some diffuse light, a lantern, an oil lantern is a way to go. And also that they were brighter than candles, and so if this was 60 years ago and the electric's out and you've got no power at home and you need some kind of light, of course you could light a candle, but it's not going to do a lot. Now, if you've got an oil lantern on you, that's going to do a little bit more, right? But if we really look at things, they've become significantly outdated at this point. And so something that I've noticed is that with modern lanterns, with just about every brand, just about every lantern outside of one major brand, outside of that brand, pretty much all modern lanterns look very, very similar. So for one, though, everything's LED now, right? We're not going off of oil anymore. They're LED. Okay, so even though they're LED, though, they look like the old school oil lanterns. They still like to keep that same look, that same design, that kind of nostalgic feel to it. Most of these modern lanterns today have that look. Now, I'll say, though, that something that I've noticed with most modern lanterns is that they still have very limited features. When you consider how far flashlights have come along the way now, modern lanterns have not for most brands. They're still very limited in what they can do, very limited user interfaces. And they're also not usually very bright. Like they're not doing a whole lot. They're better than, what the light output you'd get out of an oil lantern, but they're nowhere near what technology with where technology is at today, with what we should be able to get out of a modern lantern. Most of them are just not very bright. And a lot of times they're even somewhat expensive for what you're getting. Okay? And to be honest, I'd say that some of these modern lanterns come off as even a bit gimmicky to me. My opinion. Now, with that said, there's one brand who has pushed modern lanterns to the next level. They are innovative with their lanterns. They're doing things that are special, and that is Sofern. And now, keep in mind, Sofern has no part of this video. They don't even know I'm making this video. They haven't sent me any products for it. But Sofern has completely redefined what modern lanterns are doing. When we look at other brands of their lanterns, in my opinion, they're overpriced and very, very few on features, not great products. They're trying way too hard to resemble an old product. Sofern doesn't care so much about making you feel like you've got an old school lantern. They are pushing the envelope on what a lantern can do in modern day. So I just have a few examples here in front of us, but mainly I want to take a look at the Sofirn LT1S and the Sofirn SC03. Now, one thing I will comment on really quickly is that any flashlight nowadays with 3D printers can have a diffuser printed off for it if you do the dimensions right, and you can have diffused light. If that's all you care about is just some diffused light, for example, I've got this Sofirn SP36 here, and here we've got a little diffuser, right? And I can just snap that on, and what do you know? I can diffuse light and it does it well. I can even put this, because it's got Andro on, I can put it in candle mode, lightning mode, so forth. Even something like this Wubin X2 right here, which is just a standard EDC light that you keep in your pocket. It's not meant to be a lantern whatsoever, but here we've got a little diffuser for it. Slap that on here, and now I've got diffuse light, right? So if that's all you care about, all you need is a flashlight and have somebody 3D print you off a little diffuser here, okay? But as far as features and things that modern lanterns can do, we can see some of these things in a couple lights like these, like the LT1S and the SC03. So for example, this SC03, it's got a fairly small head on it. It's got a fairly small diffuser, but it still works great. I can get this thing pretty darn bright, right? But then also I can switch it to be a flashlight. So if I'm out camping, hiking, whatever, and I need a lantern, I can take this with me. It will easily fit in my backpack, even my jacket pocket, and I can use it as my flashlight as well. And both are good, right? So this thing is pretty neat to be able to have if you're looking for a lantern flashlight combo. So this has some features on it that are pretty cool, pretty neat. And so we have something also like this LT1S, which to me really, really redefines what modern lanterns can do. Because for one, so here we see we can check battery life. So I'm at 75% out of 100. It's USB-C rechargeable, and everything's controlled through this button. So we have a hook. We can take this out camping with us. Anywhere we go, we can hang it up. It's very small. Let me show you something. See these little marks right here? We got one right there, one right there. Got a couple more down here, some on the head. This thing has taken an absolute beating. When I first got this, I thought, man, this is, because it's mostly diffuser, this is going to be so vulnerable. This is going to be easily breakable. No, not whatsoever. My daughter dropped this over bricks, and I was like, oh no, light's done. Picked it up, and as you see, it's barely even got any damage on it. It's perfectly fine. And then one day, we got a real bad ice storm, and we're trying to get home, and these kids got into an accident, so we stopped to help them. And when we're on the side of the road, I put this up, and I put it in blinking red mode in the road so that people knew, because it was very, very dark. We're out in the country with no lights, so that people knew what they were coming up on, that we had a car in the middle of the road. Well, this kid, he's kind of frantic. He's walking around pacing because he just got into a pretty bad accident, and he accidentally kicks this thing like full force down the icy road, and it still runs like an absolute champ. As you saw, barely even any cosmetic damage to it. This thing is super durable. So for one, they were able to make something that's 80% diffuser durable. That's pretty neat. But let's take a look at the features here. So for one, obviously we've got multiple brightness levels, right, out of our white light. But then also, we can change the tint of the light. If you want this to be very warm light, if that's what you prefer, if that's what's going to be more comfortable, cozy to you wherever you're out camping, whatever you're doing, maybe you're just using this as a lantern for when you take a shower. I don't know. But you can stop it warm. You could stop it somewhere in between if you want it somewhere right in the middle between warm and cold. I tend to keep it on the very cold side. I like this real bright white LED look to it. It's got a very almost futuristic how white it is. You know, I like that personally. So you can change the tint of the light, and then check this out. You can change what side of the LEDs, which side of the emitters are actually lighting up, or you can light them all up at the same time. So if you got two people sitting on opposite sides and one person doesn't want all that light in their face, you can double click that and turn it towards you or turn it towards them, whatever. And then of course we've got red light, and we've also got red light blinking, which I told you is what I used out in the middle of the road that day. So this thing is super useful, right? And so what modern lanterns can do today, between significantly higher light outputs, between all the different features they can do, we're just in a whole different ball game. But I find that most brands are not pushing the envelope and actually taking advantage of the technology that we have for lanterns outside of Sofern, right? And so a few others that I'll recommend and also, tell you that you should check out, but I do not own, so I can't show them in video here. So this is the Sofern LT1S. Try out the regular Sofern LT1 if you like. This is powered by a single 21700 battery. Now you can actually get this as the LT1, or I'm sorry, I think it's a single 18650. Let's actually check this out here. Let's see what this is. Okay, so it is powered by a single 21700 battery. As you can see there, it goes right up the middle, okay? Which is just still good. That's decent battery life. But if you're looking to run it kind of brighter, if you get the regular LT1, it's this head of the LT1S basically on the body of this SP36. So let me stick it back here so you can see it. So it's kind of like this. Wow, that's still, it won't be this tall. Okay. It won't be this tall, but it'll be like if you take off, this part right here and you had that head on there right there, that's basically what it's going to look like. All right. So, and what that does for you is it would give you 3 18650 batteries inside the tube, so it gives you significantly better battery life than a single 21700 does. Also, with that regular LT1, even though it's bigger, it's got Anduril on it, so way more features, way more customization. I love this user interface. It works great. There's so much you can do with it, as far as a small and easy option for camping, hiking, whatever. But that LT1, if you can deal with a bigger version, if you can deal with a heavier lantern, and if you don't mind it, significantly more features when you add on Anduril, okay? And a couple more options as well. The IF23, which you get a whole bunch of different color options there that you can choose from on your light, and the LT1 Mini, which is kind of a little bit more like this, but small, okay, as far as how it looks. So, and just so you know, that regular LT1, that puts out a max of 800 lumens for $61 on the Sofern website. So, I mean, that's $61 to get the regular LT1. That is a great price, considering when we look at other brands, you're paying more or the same for that for just way less of a product, okay? So lanterns have really come a long way. But I really believe specifically Sofern is the one that has pushed them and moved the needle for. And I would love to see some of these other brands start taking some inspiration from Sofern on these lanterns, and to see a variety of more lanterns come out from other brands that push the envelope as well. But for right now, I'm telling you, if you're looking for a modern day lantern, you don't have to stick to your oil lamp anymore. Check out the LT1S, check out the LT1. If you want a combo light, check out the SC03, or if you want one that'll fit in your pocket, check out the LT1 Mini. But just wanted to have a quick discussion on what modern lanterns can do today and where we should be looking for them. So thank you for watching and have a great day.